This is how I winter my bees here in Michigan. If you have old bed comforters, save them, because they're great at keeping heat in and letting moisture out. I use a shim above the two deeps, and there's a bunch of sugar in here. And this is 100%. This is 100% cane sugar, no corn syrup. And what I do is I slide it in the hole, real careful and slow when they get out of the way. No bees are harmed when you do that. And if I want to monitor the size of the cluster, I take this little LED flashlight and I shine in there and look for the bees and see the cluster. Now the cluster would be normally right here, and as they eat the honey in here, they'll move up to the sugar. And what your goal is you want to keep them out of here until spring. So you want to keep feeding them sugar before they move up into here. You know, so a lot of guys on YouTube, they're saying they're putting their sugar up here at the top, and you're defeating the whole purpose. You want that honey there for the spring, for the buildup. And by putting the sugar here and putting the shim in here, I can monitor their cluster size. And if I feel they're too small, they won't be able to stay warm, I can bring them inside. See, I always leave a hole right here. There's another one of these shims right here. And I got insulation on the top. I do this when it's really cold. Right now it's not all that cold. I'm just doing it to show you. Insulation on the side, insulation in the back. This is basically to keep drafts out. So anyway, if a cluster's too small or you can't see them, you can quickly open up a hive and get to see the cluster in there. And if it's within a certain size and you think they're going to not make it in cold weather, I bring them in, and this is what I do with the small colonies. Now in all my videos, I want you guys to know that I placed an order with Foley's Russian bees for Russian queens. I thought they were better than Italians, and they're not. I just swept this yesterday, and I've got dead bees everywhere, and the Russians and Italians are doing just the same thing. Actually, I've got a couple colonies that are Russian that are having a worse time. I placed a 26 queen order with Foley's Russian bees, and of those 26, 6 of them never made it out of the cage. What he does is he puts the workers loose in the box. He fills the box full of workers. And when they're hot during the summer, they want to get out. They block the screen. And it says on here, air vents do not block. And once that screen is blocked, they're going to get even hotter in that box. And that damages the health of the queens. So like I said, out of 26 queens, 6 of them never made it out of the cage. And the other 20 died within the following days in the hives, because I ended up with a bunch of queen cells and no Russian queens. So don't waste your money buying Foley's Russian bees. And if you want to keep bees in the north, I'm just keeping them warm just to maintain the ability so that they can make it through winter. You don't have to keep them warm, but if their cluster gets small, they will freeze. This method here that I'm using, that comforter and all this insulation, I've had them in sub-zero weather moving around inside that colony. If they can move around, they can get to the honey. Because I have had losses where I found honey in the hive but a ways from the cluster. They got cold and they couldn't move, and they starved. So like I said, I put them in here. And let me show you the other side. I'm waiting for a sale on entry locks. I'm not buying Chinese made entry locks for 50 bucks. And this is about 50 degrees in here. And then I can feed them from here or the other side, and I can monitor them here. So anyway, at least in here they have a better chance of making it through winter, because these colonies here are way too small. A lot of those Russian queens didn't produce, and from early July all summer long they didn't outgrow with one deep, so they weren't worth the money of the first order. The first order I purchased was smaller, and I did get some queens that were Russian, but the second order they all died, and I basically lost $1,000 on that. So anyway, this is how our winter bees in Michigan. Thank you.